John, in his late 30s, sat across from his old boss in a quiet corner of the office. The blinds were half drawn, the light outside already tilting toward evening. They'd hinted at this on Tuesday. A maybe. A just in case. Now it was real. "It's just a weekend," the boss said. "A field systems job. Eric's got the lead. You're there to make sure he gets settled." John nodded. "You'll fly out Thursday night, back Monday. No deliverables. Just keep things smooth." The flight to New Zealand would take over 12 hours each way. Half the trip would be spent in the air. John didn't ask why they needed him. He already knew. He said yes. Eric, a few years younger than John, leaned against the rental with a grin that hadn't changed since college. John watched him fumble with the trunk latch. "You sure you want me tagging along?" he asked. Eric popped the trunk open. "You've done this kind of trip a dozen times. I'd be stupid not to take you." John didn't argue. He wasn't here to lead. That wasn't the assignment. Eric was sharp, no question. But this was his first overseas consult. First time managing gear, customs, client expectations, all without a safety net. John wasn't tagging along. He was the net. They were headed to John's place. Quick goodbye. Grab the luggage. Then straight to LAX. John reached into the gear bag and pulled out the company's satellite phone. Checked the charge, set it on the dashboard. "Just in case," he said. Eric nodded. Didn't ask why. Their apartment in Playa Vista was quiet. John stood by the kitchen counter, keys in hand. The kind of quiet that only happens when everyone's trying not to say too much. Susan, his wife in her mid-30s, leaned against the doorway, arms folded. Steady as ever. Lisa, their only child, sat at the table, 10 years old, chin resting on her hands. Her stuffed koala was tucked under one arm. "You'll call?" she asked. "Every day," John said, "even if it's just to say hi." Susan stepped forward. "You're not taking the laptop?" "Nope. Just a quick trip. I'll be back on Monday." She raised an eyebrow. "What if you need to check email?" John shrugged. "Dial up from a hotel room? Not worth the hassle." She nodded, but didn't smile. "Don't let Eric talk you into skipping sleep." John gave a small laugh. "I'm just there to keep things smooth." Lisa stood and hugged him tight. No words, just the squeeze. John held on for a moment longer than usual. Then he let go. Eric was outside, waiting in the car. Unmarried. No one to check in with. Ready to go at a moment's notice. That's what the job required. Thursday night. John moved through the terminal with quiet efficiency. No rush, no confusion. He'd flown this route before. Same gate, same rhythm. Check-in was smooth. Security was light. He kept his shoes on. Eric trailed behind, juggling his carry-on and a half-folded boarding pass. At the gate, John counted heads. Barely 30 passengers. He didn't say much. He didn't need to. 2 seats by the window. Quiet boarding. No announcements. The screen above the gate blinked. Flight 905. Departing 7:30 p.m. John stood. Stretched once. Walked toward the jet bridge. No drama. No delay. Just motion. They were about halfway through the flight. Over 6 hours down. About the same to go. It was 1:45 a.m. The cabin lights were dimmed. Most passengers were asleep. Heads tilted. Blankets half-draped. John sat by the aisle. Eric was next to him. Already out. Head back. Mouth slightly open. Seatbelt fastened. John had told him earlier, always buckle in before falling asleep. Years of riding all kinds of moving vehicles. It stuck. John glanced at the sat phone tucked beside his seat. He considered taking it with him to the restroom. Then he left it behind. A decision he would later regret. The hum of the engines was steady. No announcements, no movement. John stood, stretched once, walked toward the back. No urgency, just habit. He closed the door behind him, locked it. In the restroom, it started with a tremor, subtle from the plane itself, a soft shake, then a harder one. John braced himself, palms flat against the walls. The restroom rattled. Metal groaned. He reached for the grab bar. The jolt came fast, a violent lurch. The ceiling dropped. Is this it? John slammed against the wall. Then the floor. His head hit the corner. Everything went dark. John had been unconscious. He woke slumped against the wall, half curled on the floor. Cold water pooled around his waist. Darkness, a flicker of light. He gasped, tried to move. The walls were too close. He was still in the restroom. The door wouldn't budge. He pushed harder. Nothing. The water kept rising. I promised them I'd come back. Susan. Lisa. He pushed again. Harder. The door was stuck. Water pressed against it. John turned, braced his back against the rear wall, planted both feet on the door, bent his knees, pushed hard to straighten. The metal creaked. A final shove. The latch snapped. Water surged in. He held his breath. Instinct took over. John kicked free. The hallway was flooded. Dim red light blinked ahead. He swam low, past torn seats, cracked panels, a floating shoe. He rose for air, found a pocket, breathed once, then kept moving. Bodies floated nearby, some still strapped in, others drifting loose. No sound, no movement, just water and wreckage. Flickering lights pulsed from the cabin, battery-powered like emergency strobes. Air pockets clung to corners and ceiling panels. John stayed still, eyes scanning. How long was I out? Focused? Alive? John hovered in place. The wreckage stretched in both directions. The tail was gone, ripped open, a giant hole leading into open ocean. No walls, no floor, no place to search. He turned the other way, toward his seat, toward his friend, toward the satellite phone. John swam deeper into the wreckage. He moved like he always had, fluid, steady, sure. He'd enjoyed swimming since he was a kid. Grew up in a family of strong swimmers. Lakes, rivers, ocean currents. It was in his blood. All those years of training and practice, it felt like they were meant for this. He passed broken seats, loose straps, floating debris. He scanned every face. None were his friend. What if he's gone? Still no panic, just focus. He knew the way out, but he kept going. One more section to check. John kept moving. His seat was still ahead. Somewhere. He tries not to think about the pain in his ribs, or the cold, or the silence. He thought of the sat phone, left it under the seat. Stupid. That phone is cutting edge. In 2001, no one has waterproof cell phones. Most don't have signal out here. That satellite phone is his only shot at calling for help. Is it waterproof? He can't remember. Maybe someone else has one. These passengers look like business travelers. He scans the floor. No phones in sight. He keeps going. John found a pocket of air, pressed his face to it, breathed once. His heart was pounding. He thought of the graduation party later this month. His nieces, his nephews, the way they'd begged him to be there. He'd promised. He wasn't about to break that. He whispered, "No fear, no haste. Mission, survive. If anyone's alive, I won't leave them behind. Whatever it takes." He stayed there a moment, let the vow settle, then pushed off. John swam forward. The cabin tilted or was twisted sideways. Red light blinked, then vanished, then blinked again. He moved past torn seats, loose straps, a floating tray. Then, movement, legs, kicking, not drifting, alive. He surfaced, air pocket, a face, a young woman in her mid-20s, face of an angel, a welcome surprise, after so much horror, so many drowned bodies, wide eyes, tears. "You're real," John nodded. She sobbed. "They were pulling me down. I had to kick them off, or I would have drowned like the rest around me." He stayed calm. "You're safe now." She steadied her breath. John watched her, still alert, still calm. She looked at him. "Have you found anyone else?" He shook his head. "You're the first." She swallowed. "You think others made it?" He nodded slightly. "If you made it, there might be others." He paused. "Were you traveling with anyone?" She shook her head. "No. I didn't know anyone on the flight." He turned toward the next section. "I'm going to check." She reached for his arm. "Want me to come with you?" He hesitated. "No. There might not be any more air pockets down there. I don't want to lose you." She nodded. Just whispered, "Be careful." She shifted in the water too many times. John noticed she was struggling to stay afloat. No footing. The plane was on its side, seats gone, just angled window panes. Nothing to hold on to. She kept kicking. John moved closer. "Before I go look for others, I'm going to dive down. See if I can find something you can stand on." She nodded, catching her breath. He added, "If you feel me grabbing your legs, it's just to guide you onto it, so you don't think I'm a perv." She gave a tired smile. "Thanks for the heads up." He nodded. John took a breath, submerged, cold, muted light, wreckage below, seat base, still bolted. He moved beside her, reached gently. "Here," guided her legs. She stepped, stable. She exhaled, stood. During that moment, John remembered teaching his daughter, Lisa, to swim. How he'd hold her under the arms, guide her to the surface. Kick. Breathe. "I've got you." She'd trusted him completely. John surfaced, moved beside her. "There you go. Now you're set." She nodded. He glanced at the ceiling, flickering light. "If the lights go out, don't panic." She looked up. "Okay." John leaned in. "I'll come back for you. No matter what." She held the seat edge. "I'm scared." He nodded. "Don't leave this spot. I'll find you." She hesitated. "What's your name?" He answered, "John." She replied, "I'm Yvonne." But by the time she was mid-sentence, he had already submerged. Yvonne stayed still, held the seat edge between her legs and one arm. She kept replaying his words. "I'll come back for you, no matter what." What if the air pocket ran out? What if the lights went dark? What if he got stuck or couldn't find his way back? She tried not to panic. John had been calm, thoughtful. Even under pressure, he'd treated her with care. She believed him. She whispered to herself, "Please, make it back." She missed him already. John swam through tilted rows. Stillness. A few yards further, he angled past a broken aisle. Two men, alive, gripping a seat frame. Eyes wide. One tall, mid-50s, the other shorter, late 40s. He surfaced. "Can you swim?" They nodded. "Good. There's a young woman about 15 yards that way. 3 surface pockets between here and there. She's in the 4th one, larger than the rest. Left side, near the tail." They listened. "Stay with her until I return." John paused. "Have you seen anyone else alive?" The taller man shook his head. "No. The plane kept shifting. We had to keep swimming to find an air pocket. We didn't see anyone else." The older man asked, "Who are you?" John replied, The man who's getting you out of this fix. He turned back to submerge, still searching. John moved deeper, several pocket holes, few and far between. Rows bent, seats twisted. He saw movement. A hand, gasping. It was Eric, alive, his face barely clearing the air pocket. John exhaled. Relief. He surfaced. Eric, can you hear me? A cough. Yeah, barely. John moved closer. Can you swim? No. Something's got my leg. I can't move. John dove, found the metal frame, wedged tight. Eric's leg, pinned, bleeding. John cleared the wreckage, freed the leg. Eric winced, finally was able to breathe without struggling. John resurfaced. John stayed close, blood in the water. Eric's leg, still bleeding. John knew what that meant. Sharks didn't sleep. Night didn't matter. Blood drew them. He leaned in. I'm going to stop the bleeding. Don't move. Eric nodded. John dove, found a body, took a belt from the body, looped it above the wound, pulled tight, held the pressure. Eric clenched his jaw, looked around, started to focus. John surfaced. Do you have the sat phone? Eric shook his head. I was asleep, woke up to water and screaming. John looked around, debris shifting, lights dimming. He dove again, checked under seats, no phone, just wreckage. John steadied himself. Eric was breathing. Bleeding had slowed, but it wasn't over. Meanwhile, the two men arrived with the young woman. The older one spoke. We were told to meet up with you. The other glanced at her. He found us. Who is he? She answered quietly. He found me too. His name is John, but I'm afraid that's all I know. The younger man looked around. Should we move further down? Feels like we're just waiting here. The older man shook his head. We better do what he says. I have no idea how to get out of this plane, and we must be deep. Pocket holes are shrinking by the minute. The young woman spoke again. Well, I'm not moving from here. John told me to wait for him. I'll do that. He seems capable. He found you two. We have to give him more time. The younger man nodded. Yeah. If it weren't for him, we'd still be over yonder waiting alone. The older man added softly. Yeah. It sort of felt good to know someone who seemed to know what he was doing. John scanned the wreckage. No sat phone, no time. He recalled the overseas flight manual, the training, the many flights. He'd thought it through. If this ever happened, he'd know where to look. Survival gear, rafts. He moved toward mid-cabin, storage bins, emergency packs. He found one, then another. Checked for rope, found some. He'd need it. He had a plan. The packs were heavy. He could carry two. No more. Eric would need help swimming. John gripped the rafts. He scanned again. Found a tin cup. Could scoop. Could signal. He grabbed it. Found a sealed bottle. Water. He pocketed it. Found rags. Wrapped them tight. Could be used for pressure. He packed what he could. No sat phone, but he had gear. He had a plan. Turned back. Still dark. Still sinking. John had planned for time. An hour, maybe more. Enough to find the sat phone. But the stakes had changed. Eric was bleeding. Couldn't swim. Could bleed out. Sharks on his mind. They didn't sleep. Others were waiting, counting on him. If the wreckage broke again, they'd all be gone. John moved carefully, rafts and gear in hand, debris shifting around him. He felt a pull, a current, strong. He stopped, looked ahead. Darkness, no seats, no cockpit. Gone. The plane had snapped. He didn't dare go further. Too risky, too deep. He turned back toward Eric, back toward the others. John swam with Eric. Slow. Careful. They stopped at the first air pocket. Eric coughed. Sorry I got you into this mess. John replied, Glad you did. If I'd stayed behind, And you didn't survive this? I'd carry that forever. They swam again, stopped at the next pocket, rested. Lights flickered. John adjusted the rafts and gear. Eric held on. John, did you have time to go on a shopping spree? John replied, felt like a fast grab in a wind tunnel. Blindfolded. No time to tell what could be useful. Eric asked, did you get everything you wanted? John said, almost. Had to leave the kitchen sink behind. Goal is to go up, not sink to the bottom. Eric smirked. Good call. Well, my contribution to the cause is that I'm losing a few pints a minute. Might end up lighter than the gear. One more stretch. John saw them. The girl. The two men. Still waiting. He reached them. Eric beside him. The gear delivered. Hope returned. The older man spoke first. Hey, you made it. I was hoping you would soon. It's getting dreadful by the minute. Yvonne said with visible relief, you said you'd return, and you kept your promise. The shorter man stepped forward impatiently. What's the next plan? John nodded. This is Eric. He's hurt, but he's with me. I looked for others. No one else made it. The young lady said, I'm Yvonne. The older man added, Harry. The shorter man said, Matt. John steadied the group. Anyone seen a satellite phone floating around? Bright yellow with black trim. Should stand out from a distance. Harry blinked. What's that? Eric answered, you can call for help. Anywhere in the world. Yvonne shook her head. Matt, too. No one had one. John looked up. Lights flickered. Only 10% lit. Fading fast. He exhaled. No time to search again. He opened the raft kit. Found rope. Made knot loops. One for each ankle. We'll tie ankles. One to the next. When the raft inflates, it'll pull us all up. They nodded. He looped each one. Checked the knots. Checked again. The plan was set. John gathered them close. Take big breaths. Slow. Fill your lungs. We'll need it. He pointed. There's still a pocket hole near the restrooms. It's a long stretch, but we can make it. They nodded. John turned to Harry. Help me pull Eric, and part of the gear. He looked at Matt. Carry one of the rafts. Then to Yvonne. Swim next to me. There's a strong current. If you're not kicking hard, it'll pull you away. John led them toward the exit. They moved together, slow, focused. Midway through, a shadow passed below. Matt flinched. The raft slipped from his grip. Gone. John saw the tail vanish into the dark. Shark. He didn't say it. He didn't have to. They all felt it. They kicked harder. No one looked back. They reached the final air pocket. Everyone made it, breathing hard. Alive. Only one raft left, the one John still held. No more delays. John turned. When we go, chin to chest, head down, don't look up, hold the rope with both hands. Keep your elbows tucked in, don't spread your arms, it'll slow you down. Don't fight the pull. They listened. If you run out of breath, I know CPR. I will not let you die here. He looked at Yvonne. When we're in the clear, I'll pull the raft's cord. I won't be able to see what I'm pulling. Pitch dark out there. I'll know it's the right spot by the size of your wrist. If you feel me grabbing your arm, don't think twice. Just go with it. It'll inflate and take you first. Then the rest. I'll be last, to make sure nobody gets left behind. They believed him. They swam out, reached the clearing. No wreckage, just more water, just darkness. So dark it felt like the world had been painted black. No way to know which way was up or down. John raised his fingers in front of his face. Couldn't see them, not even an outline. Only once had he felt this kind of darkness. As a boy, helping his uncle dig a water well. It collapsed, trapped him and his cousin. But there was air. His uncle had left a pipe, long enough to reach the surface. That pipe saved them. A crew came, dug them out. But now, no pipe, no air, no team, just him, just the plan. John had placed the young lady first, slim enough to remember her wrist size, tied to the raft. He'd planned to use 2 rafts. One didn't make it. Would one be enough to pull them all up? He wasn't sure, but there was no time to test. Everyone else was tied behind her, ankle to ankle. John was last. Well, she's also first, in case the raft can't pull them all up. He could cut the men free, including himself. At least the young girl makes it. At least she doesn't drown, he thought to himself. Everything John did, calculated, precision, life, survival, no errors. They were all holding their breath, waiting. John pulled the cord. The raft inflated. Fast. It yanked her upward, then the next, then the others. John felt the pull. He counted. 1 second, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Still dark, still rising. They broke the surface. Cold air, choppy water. He'd counted 10 seconds on the way up, maybe 2 meters per second. That had put them at 20 meters deep. No land in sight. But the raft held. John reached, helped the young lady aboard, then the next, then the others, one by one. Careful. No slips. No panic. He checked each face. Still breathing. Still alive. Then he climbed in, pulled his legs clear, collapsed back. Sky above. Water below. They made it. But they're still not out of the clear. The Pacific Ocean is large. Hardly any land mass. At the very least, they have one thing. They have air. All you can breathe. To be continued.